Hi, my name is Rick Dyer and I am Safety Manager for Partners in Development Foundation. We make a little training video on our new semi-monthly vehicle maintenance checklist. Okay? So first of all, we can get the top section filled out by referring to your registration, your vehicle registration. It asks for the vehicle year and make, the license number, the model, registration expiration. The form asks for the date that your safety check expires, and then from your insurance paperwork, the date that your insurance paperwork expires. All right. The first item we're going to check is the brakes. So, have my seatbelt on. I'm going to start the engine. Park brake is on, so we can put it in drive. Release my foot off the brake, and we don't go anywhere. That tells me the park brake works. Now I'm going to release the park brake. Again, park brake works, and now that tells me the foot brake works. The second part of that question wants to know, does the vehicle pull left or right while you're driving when you press on the brake? So what you want to do then, obviously you're going to have to, that check is going to be on your way to your first site. So, and if your front end's out of alignment and you press on the brake, sometimes it'll pull one side or the other. You'll notice on the checklist, the first 8 items are highlighted in gray. Those are your daily check items. So just your visual walk-around inspection. You don't have to fill out the form for those. That's just something you need to get in the habit of looking at on a daily basis and checking. That's your brakes, your exterior lights, tires, body, glass, horn, mirrors, windshield wipers. Windshield wipers, what you're checking for is streaks, maybe the rubber is torn, or maybe the motors burn out and the wipers don't work at all. Your horn, obviously just make sure the horn works. Make sure that it doesn't cut out when you press on it. The mirrors, make sure that they're all firmly attached and that they're all adjusted for the driver. And then the glass, make sure that none of it's cracked, broken, or chipped. Okay, let's go outside to the body. Okay, for the body check, all we're going to do here is to make sure that nobody's keyed it, or make sure that last time someone drove it, or last time someone parked next to it, that we don't have any body damage. That's pretty easy to identify. Another thing you want to check is to make sure your mud guards, can you see the mud guards? Yeah. Make sure your mud flaps or mud guards are in place and not dangling or loose. What those do is they keep the tires from throwing rocks up on other cars and breaking their window. Okay? Okay, so what we're checking here is the headlights, the turn signals, and the hazard lights. In a minute we'll go around and we'll check the brake lights, which you'll need someone to assist you for that, and we'll check the tail lights. So what we're checking on interior is we want to make sure we have a clean interior with no accumulation of debris, no stains, no damage, no rubbish, personal belongings, and stuff like that. The main cause for concern is that we don't get dust and junk that blows up in our eyes. And another thing that we want to be concerned with is that we don't have extra shoes and purses and backpacks and things like that clutter in the floor that may present a tripping hazard. And this van looks pretty clean. Another thing we want to check on the interior is the lights. So when we have the doors open, okay, when we're checking the engine, we want to make sure that it runs and sounds normal. What that means is that when you turn the key to start it up, it should start right up. You shouldn't have to crank the starter over and over and over and over several times before the engine actually sparks and takes hold and starts up. You want to listen to it and make sure that there's no excessive knocking or pinging. Pinging usually is in it. Another thing that can cause funny noises in your engine is if for some reason your oil level gets too low. If your oil level gets too low, then your engine doesn't lubricate very well and it has a lot harder time staying cool, and your parts get hot. They tend to get gummy and sticky. They don't move very well. Another thing that I wrote on the form is dieseling. And what dieseling is, as soon as you turn off the key, your engine should shut right down. If it doesn't, if it keeps cycling for several cycles, that's called dieseling, and so you would need to take your van in and get it checked. You also want to check your exhaust when it's running to make sure that you don't have different colors of smoke coming out the back. The way the exhaust system is set up on these, you should have almost no emissions whatsoever. If you do have smoke, then you've got a problem. So again, it should be checked. The next one on the list is steering. You want to check that your steering is tight and doesn't have excessive play. What that would mean is that your steering linkage and mechanisms are loose and that they would need repaired or replaced. You can do that just as soon as you start moving your vehicle. You can kind of wiggle your steering wheel back and forth just a little tiny bit to see if there's room. It's called play, but if you're not familiar with that term, it means if your steering wheel moves before your tires do. Okay, that's called excessive play. Alright, next couple things on the list are pretty self-explanatory. Your heating and air conditioning systems operate properly. Obviously you'll be able to feel that. And your vehicle exterior needs to be clean. I'm sure you guys have a frequency with which you're required to clean the vehicles. This one looks spotless, and so I'm not worried about that. The next item on the list is your paperwork. Your license plate, make sure the tabs aren't expired, insurance, registration, safety check. That kind of coincides with the top part of the list where we want to know what the expiration dates are, but down here we want to check if they are expired or not. Okay? And date and initial. Alright, next let's check the items under the hood.